gonna be a different year. This is not the place for fear. I've got a job to do.
All right, good morning, everyone. Mrs. Mullins' class, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Great. How about you, Mrs. Holmes? Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Awesome. We're just waiting for Mrs. Faulkner's class to get on. Good morning, Isaac. Great to have you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you guys can go ahead. Take a look. Yesterday, I took a lot of points away. There was a lot of students that instead of going in the positive direction, we went into the negative direction, and as such, Ravenclaw has pulled away a little bit further. So it is time that Gryffindor, Hufflepuff, and Slytherin, you guys, I want to see you guys working hard, earning a lot of points so you guys can catch Ravenclaw House. All right, yesterday I want to start off, and hopefully, okay, Mrs. Faulkner is here now. I want to start off with just an announcement about yesterday's work when it comes to your Frere models. I did not give you guys any explicit instructions as to what to do with your actual model, okay? So, Mrs. Mullen, Mrs. Faulkner, and Mrs. Holmes, this will be for you guys as well. So, your Frere models. I think that the best thing to do with your Frere models is that when they're done, that you guys are handing those in to your teachers so that we can have them and then we can keep them safe. That way they're not going back and forth in your backpack for a week. That way they're not getting crumpled up and getting ruined. All right? So right now, if you have your Frere models on you, I would like for you guys to take your Frere models out, and that's if they're done. Okay? If they're not done, you're going to hang on to them until they are done. But if your Frere models are done, I want you to take them out and have the teachers come around and collect them now. Okay? Now, teachers, only collect Frere models that are fully colored and that has the student's name on the back of it. All right? So right now, take a moment, go around, collect those Frere models, and when you're done collecting them, let me know in the comment box. Yeah, Jasmine? Sorry, one more thing. Only after the students have uploaded pictures. You need to make sure that you've uploaded your picture of your Frere model. And everybody should have them done because I did say that they were due today. Now, you guys are in luck because we're not sharing them till Friday. So if you don't have it done, okay, we'll talk about it with your homework, but you need to make sure that you get these Frere models done. Okay. I've collected everyone from my room. For people in my room that have handed them in, great job on being responsible and meeting your deadline. For those that didn't hand it in, let's get these in as soon as possible. All right? We are going to be presenting them on Friday. Okay, Mrs. Mullen and Mrs. Faulkner and Mrs. Holmes, will you let me know once you guys have collected your classes?
The Mullen's room's all set.
Thank you.
Holmes is all set.
Awesome. All right, and so is Mrs. Faulkner. All right, boys and girls, everybody today, you guys can see, I wrote to you guys, believe it or not, but we will be taking the Common Core state test, not tomorrow, actually, I should say Thursday. So today, we're going to try an online practice test. And every single person for this practice test, you guys are going to need your computers. Okay, so right now I want you to do two things. I want you to write down your homework or your classwork in your agenda. And then I also want everybody in every room to go to our blog. Go to the ELA blog. So you guys are all going to go to roytrumbull.blogspot.com. Each and every student. All right? So those are the two things you need to do. Write down your homework and then go to our ELA classroom blog. And then again, teachers, will you let me know when all of your students are set? And they're all right, my room is all at the blog. Casey, what's the first thing in your agenda that you should have written down for your homework? Good. Casey just said finish your Frere vocabulary model if you are not done. So if you're not done, that is something you need to make sure that you get done. All right, and because our state test is on Thursday, on Wednesday night, I want you to do this thing right here. Michelle, what are you going to do on Wednesday night?
Get a good night's sleep.
Good. Get a good night's sleep. All right, as Mrs. Mullen said in math class, it's going to be a great day tomorrow. I think everybody in my classroom almost finished the math assignment, so that's great. You don't have any math homework. Tonight, you really don't have any ELA homework unless you're not done with this Frere model, which you all should have been done with. Okay, so just on Wednesday, enjoy your day, but make sure you get a good night's sleep. No staying up late, binge watching Netflix. Don't stay up late playing video games. Okay, get yourself a good night's sleep. You guys know school starts early. All right, and then everybody, make sure that you do this. Justina?
Eat a healthy breakfast.
Good. A healthy breakfast is going to help you guys be nice and nourished in the morning. Because, again, we will be doing the state test probably one of the very first things in the morning on Thursday. Okay, so that's all I want you guys to do. Get outside tomorrow, get yourself a good night's sleep, and come to school having had a nice breakfast, or make sure that you get breakfast when you're here in school so that you guys can have a good breakfast. Frank?
What is an example of a healthy breakfast?
I'll let you guys decide, whatever you think. You know, a nice bowl of cereal, some fruit, you know, whatever it is that you like. Okay, good a healthy breakfast. Okay, the healthiest you can have. John, do you have a question?
Yeah. Is it gonna be like last year? Are we gonna be eating breakfast in the classroom?
We will have breakfast just like we've had breakfast right now. So you guys will be having breakfast in the classroom. All right, thanks, Mrs. Mullen. Okay, so with that said, you guys can see I'm not giving you any new assignments today. So today, we are going to be doing a practice state test. So, follow along on my screen right now. I know you guys all have your computers open to our blog. Okay, that's great, but put your eyes up on the board for a couple of minutes. I want to cover directions, and then I will let you know when I want you to click on stuff. Okay? All right, so here is our online practice test. The directions tell you this. Read the passage and answer the questions that follow. Okay, so here we go. Tips to do your best. Okay, today it's all about this first big tip. Today we are going to practice using the online tools. You guys didn't take the state test in 5th grade, and I'm not sure in 4th grade. Did you guys do your state test on the computer in 4th grade? Okay, so it's been 2 years since you've used these online tools. So today is really the best thing I want you to get out of here is just a little refresher about how to use those online tools and what the test is going to look like. Okay, none of your work that you're going to do today is going to be graded. Okay, today is kind of like a tutorial that you guys are just going to be able to get comfortable with these online tools. Okay. But additionally, our goal, I just want to remind you guys about the test on Thursday and even this practice test. Okay, tips to do our best. The first tip, Alicia, to do our best, we always want to do this thing. I've highlighted it in blue on the board behind me. What does it say? Good. We want to make sure that we read closely. The second thing we want to do, how about Piper? We want to make sure that we do this thing, which says to reread. So these two things go together. One, read closely. Your goal read closely, which means, again, taking your time to really read slowly and understand what you are reading, which includes rereading. Many people today in math class, Mrs. Mullen will appreciate this, we had to go back and reread those math problems so we knew where to put the information. Did that information go with the is, or the of, or the percent? We had to go back and reread. With language arts tests, and again, why were we struggling with some of that math? Because some of us weren't reading closely. And so what did we have to do, Frank? We had to go back and reread. Okay? So with this language arts test, make sure that you are reading closely and that you are going back and rereading. Ruth, the fourth tip on here tells you whenever you're doing this practice test or the actual test on Thursday, what do I want you to do? Make sure that you work carefully. Okay, and so that really means make sure that you guys are staying focused on your own work. Make sure that you guys are working carefully. There should be no rush, which Justina leads me into this next tip, which tells you to do what? Take your time. You have all the time that you need on the language arts test tomorrow. All right? So take your time. You should not be worried about being the first one done. Usually, the first people done are often the people who probably score the lowest because those people aren't working carefully and they're not taking their time. It's those students that really take a long time to really work hard, make sure that they've done their best, who are reading and rereading. Those are the students that do the best. Which includes this tip right here, John, which tells you sometimes you're going to need to do what, John?
Go back into the text.
You're going to need to go back into the text, all right, which includes after you've read a question, Rylan, all right, should you have to just guess at the answers, what do I want you to do, Rylan?
Reread.
Yeah, go back into the text. So you're going to be rereading. All right, today you guys are also going to learn how to do these things. So Jasmine, one of the things on the test on Thursday that's going to help you do your best is to use this. Go ahead, read it for us. Good. She said use the highlighter tool. I will show you that tool today and show you how to use it. Okay. Parker, another tip for you to do your best on Thursday is this. And this works really well for some students. Okay, maybe not all, but for some, if they do this, it's really going to help them. What is the next tip, Parker?
Preview questions.
Good. It says to preview the questions. We know that prefix of pre means to do it before. So before you even read the passages on Thursday's test, you might want to go ahead and read the questions first, Frank. So before you dive into the passage, you might say, you know what, I'm going to preview the questions. Why would you want to do that as a strategy? Michelle?
So you might be able to find the answer in the text while you're reading.
Okay, Michelle said so you might be able to find the answer in the text while you're reading. Frank, do you want to add anything to that?
Well, that way you know what you're looking for.
Excellent, Frank, 10 points. That way you know what you're looking for. Okay, so along with what Michelle said and what Frank said, these are the two reasons why we like to preview the questions. We might be able to find the answer while we're reading, and it lets us know what we're looking for. Okay, it tells us what to pay attention to. I am not sure if this is going to be a requirement tomorrow. From what I've heard about the state test, I think it's going to be mostly multiple choice. But if there is some short answers, what do you need to do, Rylan?
Include your evidence.
It's highlighted in blue.
Sentences.
Good. Type in complete sentences, and I should add fully developed complete sentences. This is one of the main things we have been working on with Harry Potter. Every single quiz that you guys have had to do, you have had to write in complete, fully developed sentences. So this is a skill you guys should be feeling strong about right now going into the state test. You should be like, this is no problem. Mr. Trumbull has made us do this for 12 chapters. I got this. All right, these last two right here. Ruth, can you read this one? Actually, no, I've already called on Ruth. How about Jane? Jane, can you read the second one from the bottom?
Include your evidence when necessary.
Good. You guys will often hear me say the word explain when I ask you guys question. This is the same. If the question asks you to make sure that you support your answer with information from the text, this is what we're talking about. Okay, so make sure that when you're reading the questions, if the question asks you to support your thinking or include evidence, don't overlook that. Because if you overlook that and you just answer the question but you don't include the evidence, you're only going to receive part credit on that answer. The evidence is an important part of that question. And last but not least, the thing that probably drives me the craziest, how about Sophia? Make sure that you do this.
Always use capitalization and punctuation.
Capitals. Always use capitals and punctuation when necessary, guys. All right? Sentences begin with capitals. They end with periods. Okay? Proper nouns all need capitals. And in this, I would like to include spelling on here. If you misspell words that are in the text, you're not going to be able to score as well. So make sure that you are focusing on your spelling. Okay, so with those tips in mind, what I want you to do now is where I want you to do this along with me. I'm going to read through these 8 steps first, okay, and then we're going to do them together. Okay, so the first thing that we are going to do, and you guys, again, we'll do this together, is you're going to be clicking on the New York State test practice. I have this as a link. Okay, the second thing we're going to do is we're going to scroll down and we're going to select the question sampler. We're going to select ELA. Then we're going to select grade 6. And then you will see that there's going to be 3 samplers. It doesn't matter which sampler you pick. You can pick sampler 1, sampler 2, or sampler 3. And then we're going to click on Start the Text. Okay? Once we've done that, we will select Continue. And then I will read through the directions, guys, and I will be providing you with a demonstration of the online tools. Okay, so right now, everybody, on the blog, as I do it, you're going to do it with me. Okay, everybody, scroll to the links. Find the links on the left-hand side of the blog and scroll down to where it says New York State Test Practice. It is right under Word. Okay, it will bring you to this. Now, once you are here, scroll down where it says Select the Question Sampler. And right below it, you'll see this empty box. I want you to select your subject. So click on the arrow and scroll and click on ELA. Oop, pretty easy. Once you've done that, a new box will pop up. I'll make mine bigger, where it tells you to select the grade. So click on that and pick grade 6. Okay. Once you've done that, a new box will pop up where it asks you to select your test. This is where you could select sampler 1, sampler 2, or sampler 3. It also says ELA response box sampler. That's the only one that you're not going to click on. For purposes of our demonstration, everybody could click on the same one. Click on sampler number 1. Now, Frank, I'm not going to score it. You're calling out. I would hate for you to lose those points that I just gave you. All right, so now, guys, all you got to do is click on where it says Start Test. Click on Start Test. Okay, so now I'm going to pretend this is just like Thursday. All right, and on Thursday, okay, this is where the teacher, I'm going to have very specific directions that I'm going to be reading to you. When we get to this point, guys, you should never click a button unless the teachers tell you to click the button. So nobody should click continue unless we tell you to click continue. It is imperative and it is very important, especially tomorrow on Thursday, that you are not going ahead of anything. Okay? With all the state tests, there are very specific instructions and protocols that you all have to follow. So I'm going to read this to you guys. Says, the question sampler offers a full selection of online accommodations for your preview. Please note that on the test day, students will not be able to select their own accommodations. Any accommodations needed for test day are pre-selected by a teacher, administrator, or administrator per the student's IEP or 504 plan. Okay, so this, guys, we never have to worry about. Everybody right now, click continue. Okay, again, do not click anything unless I tell you to. I'll read. These directions will appear, or these directions will help you learn about how to take your test. Click the forward arrow. Okay. Information area, online/offline indicator. The online indicator, a check mark, means that you are working online. Okay, the red X. The offline indicator, an X, means that you are working offline. Your answers are still being saved, but you will have to reconnect before submitting your test. Okay. Directions and pause/sign out. Directions. The directions link allows you to access these directions again at any time during the test. Now, guys, you probably will not need to worry about any of these features tomorrow, okay? But if you get an offline indicator and you are concerned on the test, you would just raise your hand, okay, on Thursday. That's all you would do, is you would raise your hand. And you would never pause or sign out of your test. The only way that you would do that is, again, if a teacher was there with you and we were doing it. So you guys should never pause or sign out of your test on Thursday. Casey, what did I just say? Good. Never pause or sign out of your test. Okay, everybody, click the forward arrow once again. Okay, your screen should look like this now. Navigation area, the review screen. You're going to use the review button to see your progress on the test and quickly move between questions. This is also where you submit your test when you are finished. Now, once again, you guys will, when you are finally at a point where you're ready to submit your test on Thursday, you will raise your hand. You will not hit the submit button unless a teacher is right there and they specifically say to you, hit the submit button. Okay? You will not hit submit unless you are with a teacher and they tell you to hit the submit button. Navigation buttons. These are the buttons that we've been using. Move between different questions on your test by using these buttons. The forward arrow will take you, the next question button moves you forward one, and this button, the previous question button, moves you back one. All right, everybody, right now, I believe, I'm trying to see what's on the bottom of my screen. It's hard to see because I'm sharing my screen. Let's hide this. All right. Sorry. Right now, everybody, click the next page button right here. Click that button. All right, split screen controls. Some items on your test may be split into side-by-side areas. This is so you can easily go back and forth between the two sides while you answer questions. If you want to focus more on one side, you can move the dividing line left or right by using the arrow buttons at the top. The reset button, which looks like this, will move the dividing line to its original position. And again, it will look like this. I will show you briefly the demo of all of these things I'm reading to you. And then you guys will have time to practice them. Okay, everybody click the forward arrow. Test tools. The zoom out button, which will look like this, decreases the size. The zoom in button, which looks like this, increases the size. The reset button, which looks like this, resets to the original size. Okay. Bookmark. The bookmark button marks any question that you want to return to at a later time. Anything that you've bookmarked can be seen from the review screen. Scroll down. Okay. Note. The note button opens a text editor where you can leave yourself a note to refer to later. This is kind of like a sticky note, guys, that you leave yourself. Any question that you've left a note on can be seen from the review screen. Okay, click the forward arrow. Okay, these are my favorite tools, and these are the ones that you guys will like the most. Here are some very specific test tools. One tool at your disposal is called the highlighter. The highlighter can color parts of your test for emphasis. Clear highlights by pressing on a highlighted section with the highlighter. Okay. The line reader. Use the line reader to visually hide parts of your test so that you can focus on one portion at a time. And then the answer eliminator. Use the answer eliminator to mark answers that you think are incorrect by pressing on an answer with the answer eliminator active. Okay, so right now, boys and girls, I want you to hit end directions. Okay, and then I want you to hit start test. And then I want you to take your hands off the keyboard for just a minute. Okay, so Where can you find these tools? Let me show you again. Okay, so first, I want to start in the middle. You can see right here, okay, if I want to make my reading passage bigger, this is that page divider. I can use these arrows, and I can make the question really small and the passage really big, or I can move it, okay, back and forth. Okay, so when you're reading, you might want to have the passage really big, and you might want to have the question small. If I want to reset it, I hit it right there, and now it's reset. Okay, so that's what these buttons do in the middle. Down at the bottom, look along the bottom right here. Okay, here, the zoom, this is where I can zoom in on the text. If I want to make something bigger, see how big I can make it? If I want to make it smaller, I can use this button here and I can make it smaller. Okay, if I want to reset it to the original, all I got to do is hit this button and it will reset. If I want to bookmark this question, okay, right now I'm on question number 1. Let's say I don't know the answer, but I want to bookmark it so I can come back to it later. This is where I would hit the bookmark button. Here it is right there. Okay, and now this question is bookmarked. Note, this is where you guys can click on it and you could leave yourself a note. Now, notes aren't graded. Okay, but let's say I think that the answer might be A or C, but I'm not sure. Again, I can leave my note. I can type in this text box, all right, and then I can just simply close it. I've left myself a note that I can come back and look at. Here's the highlighter. This is a tool that I think that you guys will like. I know that Mrs. Faulkner has you highlight a lot of science things. We've highlighted stuff in social studies, and we've even highlighted in ELA. So to use this tool, you simply click on it. And now if I want to highlight a short part, all I got to do is just like a regular highlighter, run over it, and it becomes highlighted. Okay? Now, I've got to turn the highlighter off when I'm done using it. So to turn it off, I got to come back here and turn the highlighter off. If I want to get rid of this highlight, again, I got to turn the highlighter back on, and then I can come back here, I can just click on it, and now it's unhighlighted. Okay, so now I'm going to turn my highlighter off. Here we have our answer eliminator. You and I have spoken about this on multiple choice tests so often. This is where you use process of elimination. Okay, so let's say I'm working on question number 1 and I'm reading the answers. And I've read answer choice A and I'm like, no way, it's not A. I can click on it and it will eliminate it. I read answer choice B and think, well, maybe it's B. I'll skip it. I read answer choice C and I'm thinking, no, it's not C. I can go ahead and I can eliminate it. And so now I've used this to help me narrow down my answers. And it's a real good visual representation. Okay? Then you have your line reader. Okay? And this is really helpful, especially if you want to go back into the text and get some evidence. Now with your line reader, you can manipulate this to be small, big. Okay? I can drag this down. Okay, I can play around with this and I can focus on just specific parts of a text, all right? Or if you're really struggling, you can use this to help you read. But let's say I want to focus just on this line right here because it has some evidence that I want to use in an answer. This is really good. It helps me zoom in on something that I want to zoom in on. Okay, I want to turn off my line reader. All right, so to get to the next question, I would simply use my next question arrow in the upper right-hand corner. Here's the next question. I could click on it. And again, all the tools stay available to me. Okay? Now, for demonstration purposes, I'm going to pretend that this one, I'm going to take a guess, it's answer A. Okay? I'm going to go here to this one, and we'll pretend that this is answer D. Okay? I'm going to skip question 4 because, I just don't know the answer. I'm going to go on here, and I'm going to type something in here. We'll pretend I answered it. Okay, so now I've done part of the test. If I click on this review button in the top left-hand corner, all right, this is an important screen. You can see I have answered 3 out of 8 questions. It says click on the question number to go back to it. So let's say I wanted to go back to a question. The way that this works is my unanswered questions are yellow. So you can see number 1. Remember, we didn't answer question number 1. But I have answered question 2, I've answered question number 3, and I have answered question 5. Bookmarks. You can see again here I've bookmarked question number 1 because I got to go back to it and I want to answer it. And also, notes, use this little icon. So I can see here on question number 1, I've left myself a note. All right? But this is a screen where you can see there are 8 questions on this test. I've answered 3 of them, and there are 5 of them that I need to go back to. Okay? Also, I can go ahead, and this is where I could preview questions. I could easily click on question number 7, and here I could see question number 7. Okay? So, up in the top right-hand corner, this is where you have your directions button and your sign out button. Should you ever use your sign out button? Justina? No. But if you need to repeat the directions, and again, I'm not sure why you would, but you can always click on the directions, and you'll have all of the directions at your disposal again. Okay? And I can always just close out of those directions. Okay, so what I want you guys to do for the rest of today is first, okay, I want you to play. I want you to play around with the tools, okay? Then once you kind of get comfortable with the tools, feel free to try to go ahead and pretend like this is Thursday and you are in a real testing situation. Read the passage and go ahead and try to answer the questions. Now, nothing is going to be graded, but I do want you to take this seriously. So, Frank, no typing gobbledygook in the answer boxes, okay? I want you to kind of pretend. This is your one chance to kind of practice, okay, getting a feel for what it's going to be like on Thursday. All right. Are there any questions from Mrs. Mullins, Mrs. Faulkner's, or Mrs. Holmes's room?
Mrs. Mullins' room's all set.
Okay. You guys have the rest of class. And again, if you guys get done and Mrs. Mullins, you guys are feeling solid, everybody's got it, they could use any remaining time to work on unfinished prayer models. But I had no problem letting them use the entire rest of class as a way to get practice on this. All right, how about you, Mrs. Faulkner and Mrs. Holmes? Are you guys good, or do you have questions? Awesome. Good luck. Come to my room if you have any questions, too, because I'll shut the meeting down. And how about you, Mrs. Holmes?
We're all set, except for a couple of complainers.
Okay, well, sorry to those complainers. All right, guys. So with that, each person right now, you guys have your directions. I'll come around. If you have any questions while you're getting comfortable with the tools, you guys can just raise your hand.